Well, when they asked me to give a presentation today, being a self-admitted geek, I normally like to stand at the back twiddling knobs and making sure everything happens at the right time. So my initial response was this. But after they said it was only 10 minutes and there'd be a lovely audience, I eventually agreed. So the first thing I just want to cover very quickly are the essentials. I'm sure most of us already know what these are, but just the essential things when holding an event, not to forget and just to make sure these things go right. So sound reinforcement, really, really important. It's got to be good quality. A microphone for every key speaker. I still sometimes attend an event where 8 people are giving a really quick presentation each and they're having to rustle around and swap one microphone between them all. And that just completely ruins the flow, so it's so important. High quality, bright projectors and displays. The consumer market's bringing out laptops and iPads and other tablet devices that are capable of higher and higher resolutions. We can use really high quality, high definition imagery in our presentations. So it's really important that you give people the high quality projection that can actually deliver what their consumer tech is available of producing. Suitable lighting. Comply with the Equality Act 2010. Now, when you're using an auditorium such as this with built-in AV, it's probably got a hearing loop for the hard of hearing. But if you're holding an event in a multifunction room where you're bringing in equipment, it's really important not to forget. And in fact, by law, you really should cater for that. And it's something that I actually see forgotten quite often. So they're the essentials. But the tech to increase the impact of your event, I'm going to go through a few things now. And the first's been around for ages, filming your event. But what we can do with our video has really changed recently, both in quality and where we can put that. Live streaming is one of them. Not only streaming to other countries and to people that can't attend an event, but if you've got a really well-subscribed event, why not open up another function room in your venue, invite more people, we'll stream it to another room, and they can still get involved in the networking afterwards, and that's really popular at the moment. Of course, editing for use online, embedding the video in your website after the event or on YouTube, Vimeo, things like that. And also, on-demand hosting, we're doing more and more of this, where perhaps the subject of the conference is unpublished data, maybe scientific data, or sensitive corporate information that they don't want shared with the public. So we're creating like a private YouTube, a really easy to navigate website for certain organisations that's password protected, so they can send the details out and people can look after the event, catch up on and re-watch the things that really interested them, and people that couldn't attend can also view all of the presentations. So that's really popular at the moment. But remember, if you're going to film your event, quality. If it's a really bad recording of the event, then to people that didn't attend, the event's going to look pretty amateurish. So it's really important not just to sling a camcorder in the corner of the room and set it on auto and just leave it to record, because that just doesn't really show your event in the best light. Turnaround time is key, and it's more and more important than ever before. You need to get this video edited well and put out on the web straight away to keep the message of your event fresh. It's no good putting up a video a month after it happened. And audio is as important as the video. We need to understand what's going on, listen to what's going on, and too often the video looks great. There's fancy graphics at the beginning. The camera's been well set up and we can see what's going on. But when it comes to the audio, it's really distorted or super quiet. And it's important to get all these things just right. So I'm going to give you an example, and it's something we've been working with the Institute of Continuing Education with, and it's their series of Madingley lectures. And the intention of these lectures is to generate interest in the range of courses that the Institute offer. And the Madingley lectures are a series of free public lectures given by leading authorities in their field. The first lecture was in January 2011. There's been 11 lectures scheduled since then, and there's more scheduled for the future. We edit the video, insert the slides. We also provide all of the other audio-visual equipment for the event, such as the staging, lighting, sound, etc. But once we've edited the video, the Institute put it on their website. They also put it on YouTube and iTunes U. And we turn that around in under a week, sometimes even 1 or 2 days, so that that video can go straight on as quick as possible. I could tell you how successful it's been and sort of go on, but I'm just going to give you the stats because they talk for themselves. So the main lecture room holds 80 people. We live stream the presentation down to an overspill room, which it can hold 40 people. So that means over the 11 lectures, a total of 1,320 people could possibly have attended and watched. Total downloads for the 11 lectures, 74,000. So that means that for every one person attending, 56 people have watched it online. And when you bear in mind the very specific academic subject matter of these lectures, you can imagine how successful it is with something that has a really broad public appeal. So we're really pleased with those numbers. So that's video. Now we're just going to have a quick chat about voting. Luann did a couple of questions using our voting system, and there's really so much more you can do with it. But the most important thing is you get an honest response. And sometimes that's quite difficult to get absolute honesty. You can really probe with the questions you can ask. Now, voting, it's been around for a while, but now it's really quick and easy to set up, which means it's a lot cheaper to include in an event than it used to be. And it integrates with PowerPoint. It's quick and easy. It's really powerful for feedback, research, or just for some fun to break the ice, to get everyone warmed up. You can just have a fun quiz or something like that. And yeah, the anonymity means you can collect valuable, honest data, but all your delegates remain at ease. And this is just a quote that one of my customers, Doug, he put this in an email the other day, completely unsolicited from me, and I just asked him if I could show you guys because I was quite pleased with that quote. In fact, we put it on the website as well. So yeah, voting, definitely something that I think really adds a lot of impact to an event. So the next thing, translation. So language translation, and especially with the interest in the Chinese market to come and learn a lot of our skills that we've got in, and especially here in Cambridge, there's a lot of courses run, and a lot of the delegates know very little English. Hearing things in your first language anyway is always a better experience for a delegate. And traditional consecutive translation, where the presenter presents, pauses, a translator then says, in the other language, that can be really slow and disrupt the flow. So I want to talk about simultaneous translation, which I know some of you already use. And how it works is interpreters sit in temporary soundproof booths. You need one booth for each language you want to translate. The presenter is translated in real time to a different language, so there's no pauses. And the delegates who require translation wear a headset with an infrared receiver, and if there's more than one language being translated simultaneously, they can then choose which language they want to listen in. And you can have as many languages as you like. And a few photos there of a booth. I think that's at St John's, actually, with a couple of translators in there. So that's simultaneous translation, and that's, again, something we're doing a lot more of, and the feedback we're getting is really, really good. So last thing, just to touch on really quickly, is the use of consumer tech in the event world, because the consumer tech market moves at an alarming rate. And most sort of useful for us, really, has been the tablet computers, which are now, for one-off events, really reasonable to hire in bulk to actually give to either individual delegates or groups of delegates. And the good thing with these devices aren't only that they're compact and affordable now, but they're an excellent platform for trying something new and interactive, because companies such as us with IT knowledge, and it doesn't have to be sort of really advanced IT knowledge, we can actually create apps and web apps for specific events. And one example that I'd like to give you was a charity ball that we did last year in the summer, and they had lots of people donating auction prizes, but they wanted to do a silent auction because they didn't want to disrupt the sort of entertainment by having a physical auctioneer in the room. So they asked us to provide a silent auction system so it didn't have to be sort of a hard-to-administer paper affair. So we put a few iPads on each of the tables. I think there's 150 iPads in total. And we also put some big screens hanging up from the ceiling of the marquee to show the live bidding. And people could just log in casually throughout the whole evening and bid on various auction items. Now, there are these systems on the market that you can just hire in. But we found, because this was in a marquee in the middle of a field, there was very little power available, and certainly to run power to each and every table would be ridiculous. But no device could last the whole night, and they really wanted people to, as they got more and more inebriated, they would obviously want to bid more and more money, and they wanted to keep the silent auction running the whole evening, and the iPad lasts for 7 hours on one charge. So that's why we went for it, and we just designed from scratch an app to allow us to do this silent auction. So what we always say is challenge your technical team, make us think about what we can do, give us your ideal, and let us see what we can do for you using all this consumer tech that's developed so quickly. So thanks for that. That's all I want to talk about now, but I'm obviously around afterwards. Please feel free to get in touch. Thank you. Thank you.